Hey, thanks for joining me to color today. We are going to be working on this adorable Magnolia image called Snowy Tilda. Isn't she cute? Love her. I will put a link down in the description box to the card kit and all the supplies I used. I would love for you to come shopping with me. So I have already stamped my image on Nina 80-pound Solar White cardstock with Memento Tuxedo Black ink. So let's color. Alright, let's start out by giving our image a quick outline with C00, and I'm going to start down here in between her legs so I don't forget. And I'm just going to go ahead and fill that all the way in. And then let's start down here at her boot, and I'm just going to work my way around to the other side. And you can make your line as fat or as skinny as you would like, or you can just leave it off. Totally up to you. I like to put it on there because it makes it look like it's popping up a little bit to me instead of so flat. And work our way up here. And if I do it first, if I get some on my girl and I want to erase it, it's not a problem. Or if I get some on her bow or whatever, I can take it off. But usually I use such a light color that it doesn't really matter if I got a little bit on her, because I'm just going to color right over the top. And then work our way over here. And for the snowflake, I'm going to kind of go around all these little cute little balls. Just work my way around to the other side. And then she's got her glove there. And we'll go down to the other side of her boot. I'm going to give her a little something to stand on too. There's not much space there after you stamp her on your paper. But I'm going to use W1, W0, and W00. And I'm just going to add a few little streaks underneath here. Because on your paper that's cut out, it goes up here quite a ways. There's not much space there. And this is W0, tongue-tied there. And I just flick over the top of that last color just a little bit. And I got a little bit on her boot, but I'm not going to worry about that because we're going to color those brown. And then I'll go with W00, just to soften it a little bit more. And later I'm going to take some Stickle Stardust and just swirl it around in there and make some sparkly snowflakes. And I think I'll take W1 again and just do a couple little streaks. Next, let's do her skin, and for that we're going to use a different color today. I'm going to try E53, 51, and 50, and for her cheeks I'm going to use R02 and R11. If you don't like this color, you can use the standard colors that I usually use on my other videos, but I just thought it would be fun to try something new. So I'm going to start over here with my E53, and let's do her legs first. So I'm just going to brush away from her calf. And then I want to exaggerate this knee right here a little bit. Same for this side. I want to go down the back of her leg. I'm going to bring that knee around. And then I'm going to go with E51. And E51 over here. And then E50 to fill it in. And this is a yellower skin tone. I thought it would be fun to try something new. I'm kind of liking it, so I might have to use it again. Okay, I like that. Now let's go up here and we'll do her hands. So again, I've grabbed E53. Let's do his thumb first. Her little mittens have finger holes. That, and then this side over here. And then we'll grab E51. And then E50 to fill them in. Okay, then let's go up here for her face. So again, I'm going to grab E53 and let's do a little bit on her neck. And then I'm going to use my E53 to brush on this side of her face that's tipped down. And then I'm going to grab E51. And we'll brush over the top of that E53 on this side. But I also want to bring some of that over here on this side. And then we're going to take E50, brush it a little bit more. I'm going to leave a little slash of white in the middle. And then we'll go back over to second time, but let's add some cheek color with R02 first. And I like to use these dots here as my guide. Kind of keep it contained to that area. And then I'm going to soften the edges with R11. And then I'm going to come back with my E51. And I'm going to brush right over that cheek again. And I'm going to do this side, past the cheek. And then I'll take E50 to go over the entire face. Let's do her hair next. For that, we're going to use E44, E43, E42, E41, and then I'm just going to add a little dab of E47. So I'm going to start with my E44. Now let's start down here on this little curly Q. And I'm going to add a few streaks. And then I want a few coming up from the bottom where it wrinkles over. And then where it's coming out from this little pigtail or hair wrapper. And let's bring this color around with this stripe right here. Okay, and then let's add a couple right here where her arm shows her hair through it. And then it's coming out of her wrapper right here where it's tied in a bow. And then let's skip over here and do this side. So again, I want to do the bottom of this wraparound curl here. And I bring my color up. I want my hair to go in the direction that it's growing or it's curling, so I'm keeping my stripes going in the same swirled direction as the hair shows. And a few coming out from underneath of her sleeve. And then up here, where it's coming out of the hair bow up here, let's get a couple. Away from her face. Alright, then that leaves us up here at her bangs. So let's do some right along the edge. And we'll just work our way around to the other side. Add a few up here at the top. Okay, I like that. So let's go with E43 next. And we're just going to continue by adding a few more stripes in there. And you can add as few or as a lot, depending on what you like. And my hair, every single time I color it, looks different than it did the first time or the last time. I couldn't duplicate it even if I wanted to. Okay, let's do over here on this pigtail. And that's this hair right here too. Then we'll grab E42 next. Same thing. We just want to add some more streaks in there. And I'm just working my way around to the other side. And maybe a little bit right here. And lastly, we'll go with E41. And you can fill it in the rest of the way, or you could leave some white in there, depending on what you like. Work my way to this other side. And then I'm going to take E47 and just do a little bit in the dark spots. So let's do a little bit here where it's coming out from her ponytail. Maybe a little bit up here underneath of her arm. And here where it's bunching out of her ponytail up here. And a few little streaks up here in her hair. And I'm trying to use more of the tip of my pen so that I get a little small, pointy, sharp line. More of a streak rather than a blob. And then I'm going to leave her like that. Alright, since we have the browns out, let's go around down here and do the boots too, because we're using E44, 43, 42, and 41. I'm going to start with my E44. And let's start over here on this side. We'll just add some shadows in there. Exaggerate a few of those little lines. Bring my sole around a little bit. Next I'll go with E43. So I'm going to touch down on top of our E44. We're going to brush that color out just a little bit more. Scrubbing right over the top of that last line and just bringing my color out. This is E42. Now we'll go over the last two colors. Soften it all together. And this is E41. Fill it the rest of the way in. And then I like to go over the top of the entire thing and pull it from the outside, so from my dark color, into the center. And that kind of squishes the colors all up and softens the edges a little bit more. And if you wanted your boots to be darker, you could go over them a second time. Okay, let's work on some red now. For that, we're going to use R24, R14, R22, and R21. And I'm going to start up here on her hair bow. So I'm going to start with R24. And I'm going to dab each little hair bow. A little dab of color. And let's go ahead and we'll do these hair bows down here too, as long as we're doing hair bows. go with R14. So dab a little bit more color on. And back up here to the hair bows up here. Next is R22. And then down here, try to leave a little bit of white at the ends of my bows that we're going to fill in with R21. Because this is my last color, I usually use it to swirl over the entire area. Okay, now we're going to do her shirt, or her dress. So again, we're going to start with R24. Let's start over here on this sleeve. And then she's got a couple little wrinkles in her sleeve, so I'm going to go ahead and do those a little bit. And let's do this sleeve over here too. And we'll bring that one in, and here's a little wrinkle in this sleeve and this side. And since her face is leaning over, I'm going to dab a little bit underneath of her chin. Then I'm going to grab R14. Soften the edge. And we'll come over here and do this side. Soften those lines. R22 next. And I'm going to bring this up and just leave a little bit of white at the top. And then I'll swirl over the whole sleeve with my R21. And let's move down here to the bodice of her dress. So again, I'm going to go with my R24. Turn my girl a little bit here. And I want to bring a little bit of red underneath of her scarf. And then let's go down this side of her body where she's tipped over. And then we're going to bring this along the edge of the bottom. And then I want to do a little dab on the underskirt that's showing, the little ribbing. Okay, now, so I want to add a little bit of, some pleats or some wrinkles in here. So here it looks like it's kind of dipping up right here on the drawing. So I'm going to bring that up like this. And then down here where this one is, there's a little bump right here. So I'm going to bring this one over around too. And then I'm going to go with R14 next. Add a little bit more color to my ribbing. And then let's bring this color up, and I want to go over each of those lines. Make them a little bit wider. Next I'll go with R22. Add a little bit more down here. And again, let's make these lines a little bit wider. And then next is R21. With this, I want to go over the entire area. make sure to get down here on this little ribbing down here. And I'm going to go over it again. Just soften those lines a little bit more. I could also go over it a second time with my R22. But I think this will work just fine to soften those edges. Next, let's do her gloves and her scarf. For that, we're going to use E41 and E50 in our Colorless Blender. I'm going to start with E41. Let's go ahead and start over here on this one with the snowflake. And I'm just going to flick a little bit up from the bottom and exaggerate a little bit of those wrinkles. Then I'll go with E50. So just touch down on top of your E41 and just brush up. And then I didn't go all the way to the top. I'm going to take my Colorless Blender and soften that edge. Okay, and then this other glove. So again, I'm going to grab my E41 first. We're just going to flick right along that edge. Exaggerate that wrinkle right there. Here's another one. Let's go ahead and bring that over. And then I want to do a little bit in each of these little wrinkles from this side. And again, we'll grab E50. And we're just going to soften that edge. And then again, I'm going to take my Colorless Blender and just swirl over the entire thing. Okay, so again, grab E41 and let's do her scarf. So let's do over here where it's touching her face. And I'm going to bring my wrinkle around in the scarf there. So it kind of swoops around. Same with this side. Connect it there. And then we'll go with E50. And my Colorless Blender to just swirl over the top. Then for these scarf tails over here, grab E41 again. I'm going to bring the color away from her face. I'm going to bring it down like this. Maybe add a little bit of character in there. Same for this side. And we'll take our E50, soften that. And then our Colorless Blender to soften the edges. And I just left them white at the ends. Alright, that leaves us with the snowflake over here. So for that, we're going to use B01 and B000. I'm going to start with B01, and I'm just going to do a little dab on the bottoms of the little circles. And then I'm going to fill them in with my B000. And that's all there is to that little snowflake. So there is our beautiful snowy Tilda all colored up. Isn't she pretty? And then again, here is my finished card. So on my card, I added some Sharpie white paint pen to her cheeks and her eyes. Also for her eyes, I didn't like how they stamped, so I took my Copic black pen and just colored them in before I did the dots. Then I, of course, did my Spica glitter pen in clear on her hair. And I added some Stickle Stardust to the snowflake, to the bows in her hair, and to add snow down here on the ground. So if you have a question, leave me a comment and I will get back to you. Otherwise, I hope you had fun coloring today, and we will see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.